Hey everyone, talking about my top 5 favorite cold weather scents, and I didn't really want to call this one like best cold weather scents because this is just so subjective in this case. Like, I know these ones are not what would possibly be considered that, versus sometimes when I do list, it does feel like, okay, I think this is the best in class of this. But yeah, so I have 5 here. These are in no particular order, although I guess this first one's pretty major because it's one of my all-time favorites. But Margiela Fire. Why am I holding this up like that's at all interesting? Margiela by the Fireplace from the replica line. This is like, yeah, sitting next to a fireplace and eating marshmallow. If you're watching this, you're probably familiar with this scent. A lot of people think it gets too marshmallowy. Some people think it gets too smoky. On my skin, it gets super smoky, like very realistic fiery. So that's why I love it. But I can see how if you were hoping for something like that and you get a more marshmallowy vibe, that might not be as much for you. So yeah, this is very, very dependent on skin chemistry, even more than most scents, but I absolutely love it. And I wear this more than anything else in cold weather. Next up, Comme des Garcons Black EDT, not to be confused with Black Pepper or the black one from the Play series, but yeah, this is what the bottle looks like. This is very like smoky, spicy, peppery with incense and even like a licorice note, which I don't usually like, but it works here. And like vetiver. Yeah, I would say this leans very masculine. And yeah, almost there's something almost like fresh barbershoppy about it at the same time. But yeah, it can definitely be a bit overwhelming. But I also don't think it's quite as some people think this is like really extremely dark and whatever, and it is. But I think it's very wearable at the same time, in my opinion, at least. But I would, yeah, I think this is best for cold weather. I have worn it in warm weather, but it's generally I stick to it during colder weather. Next up, Hocus Pocus by Lovesick Witchery. I have the kind of body mist version and the eau de parfum. I also have a rollerball version of it as well. So yeah, I love this one. And obviously full bottle worthy for me, which is rare enough, but especially with indie stuff, it's been an adventure of trying so many different ones, and this, I just love it. So this has notes of like slightly bitter citrus, baked goods, and deep kind of resinous incense type of vibe, and it's such a good combination. I wouldn't call it a gourmand, but it has this like sweet sort of bakery vibe, but at the same time like very like resinous incense and then some citrus floating through that. And I don't normally like really bitter citrus, but something about the way it balances everything here really works for me. Absolutely love this. Next up, Tyrannosaurus Rex by Zoologist. Now this is something that I calling it a favorite cold weather scent, but it's I really only wear this at home, especially if I'm going to be taking a shower sometime soon, because it's extremely intense. The longevity, the projection are insane, and it's literally based on like an apocalyptic event of when the dinosaurs were wiped out with the meteors or whatever. Yeah, it's very like it almost smells to me like trash on fire in a jungle or something, but I love it. Not for the faint of heart, though, and I don't ever recommend blind buying, but definitely not with something like this, especially. Very, very intense. But it just gives me this, like, fiery yet cozy feeling at the same time, and definitely only for cold weather. And last, this one, Varuek by PRIN, by perfumer PRIN Varuek. This has notes of, like, animal fur, oud, leather, amber, incense, coffee, castoreum, teakwood, and pine tar. So very intense, really animalic. I normally dislike oud. I normally am not a big fan of castoreum, certain like really animalic notes like that. But I love this. And this is breaks my kind of rare rule of where this actually really only works for me on skin. Even like I remember I was wearing this and I got a compliment from my wife on it. And then one point I had her smell the bottle and she was like, "Oh my god, get that away from me." So yeah, this is something that I would not ever just judge by like, oh, smell the cap of the bottle or something. I do like it a lot on a test strip too, so it works there. But when I had it on my clothes, I actually didn't really like that. So normally that would be a deal breaker for me about something being full bottle worthy. But this is such a rare occasion one because it's so intense and animalic and definitely cold weather only for me that I am down with it, even though it only works on my skin. And normally I like to spray more on my shirt and stuff. Yeah, it's definitely very pungent from the bottle, but yeah, I love it. It's based on like a feral wolf's den, and that's pretty much what it smells like. So yeah, these are my 5. Honorary mention goes to Fumabat by Couteau de Poche. That one smells almost like coniferous, then kind of leathery, some oak moss, some, yeah, more like smoky vibe in there as well, just like a burnt green smoky masculine scent basically. I also have a bottle of that one, but yeah, that one I don't like the dry down. Another rule breaker that I usually only wear that if I know I'm going to be like taking a shower soon or something, or I'm not going to be, because I love the opening of that. It's just like fresh and brisk and also like dark at the same time. But yeah, really like all of these. If you have favorite cold weather scents, let me know. Maybe I'll do another video that's just like top 5 best fall and winter scents or something like that, that feels a little bit more objective, but these are my favorites.